Hey, I'm Candace, your host, and if you're ready to grow your business and build your authority by getting booked on podcasts, I've got something special for you. I'm launching a brand new course that will walk you through exactly how to get booked on podcasts. Everything from identifying the right shows to pitching, preparing for interviews, and leveraging your guest appearances for growth. Plus, if you sign up for the waitlist now, you'll get early access to the course and these special bonuses. When you officially enroll in the course, you'll save $50 and get a free one-on-one strategy call with me to help you prep your speaking points and align your offers. These bonuses are limited and end on April 13th, so make sure to sign up today. Head to the link in the show notes to join and get started on your podcast guesting journey. I can't wait to help you get booked and start sharing your message with the world. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I have a special guest, Anna Marie with Awaken with Anna. Anna is passionate about creating awareness through the body and mind connection. As an experienced respiratory therapist, certified VAT, breath and wellness coach, this holistic mama connects the science and soul of our breath. So welcome to the show. I'm super excited to hear more about this.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Tell me a little bit about your story, because it sounds like you started very much in the science world, but now you've transformed into kind of meshing that soul and spirit world together with the science. So how did you start in the science setting and move your way to this different place?
Gosh, great question to bring me back. I actually didn't know what I wanted to do. I had hopped around to some different colleges and I was home over Christmas break and a friend said, "Hey, come to school with me. It's going to be fun. We'll do respiratory." And I said, "Okay." A week later, I started respiratory school. So it was just a fluke that I happened to get into that. I was familiar with respiratory. My grandpa had COPD and, I was familiar with the healthcare system because my mom was a nurse and that sort of thing. So again, it just was a fluke. And I always thought, well, I'm just going to do this until I figure out what I really want to do. I worked at the bedside for 16 years. I did 5 years teaching respiratory, and I did 2 years on the outpatient side. So I really have been in respiratory for 25 years now. During that time, I really saw this need to connect, to kind of bridge this holistic well-being with Western medicine. There is a place for both, and there is truths in both. And if we can merge them, that is where healing actually happens, which is beautiful. Of course, kiddos change everything for you, right? And it was kind of started myself on that holistic path of exploring things, started with essential oils and kind of have tried a little bit of everything. All these tools that are out there, kind of explored a lot of them and took something and still use some of them. And that's really how I got to the point for understanding that Awaken with Anna is needed to create awareness. It's just an awareness. When you are aware of something, you notice something, and you can change your perspective of things and actually grow. So that's the whole point of Awaken with Anna.
Perfect. Yeah, I like how you talked about meshing that medical world with that holistic world, because there's positives from both. If we could just take the positives from each, put them together, how great would that be? But I know that it's kind of divided, and I wish it wasn't that way, because there's a lot of good in both. So we actually just recently met. You're friends with another guest I had on. She connected us. The world is crazy like that. And you came to my house, did my first individual breathwork session for me. Still kind of blown away about it, kind of spinning still. It was about a week ago. What is breathwork? Can you tell us first about that for people that are listening? Like, I don't know what this is. I think it's more common now, but I think it's definitely something that maybe people are not sure what it is.
Absolutely. It is. It's everywhere. It's kind of a buzzword right now. And I strongly encourage you to explore breathwork. There's tons of different videos and different techniques and things on YouTube and whatnot. If you want to experience a mini session, give me a call. I love facilitating that. It's really powerful work. It's really connecting, to me, the body, the mind, and the soul. And in most languages, the word breath means spirit. That's how it translates. And so if you think about everyone's stuck in their mind and racing with everything that's going on, ultimately, we need to get back into our bodies. And the easiest and fastest way to do that is through breath and movement and that sort of thing. So it's really connecting and quieting the mind, similar to like meditation can quiet your mind, but it's actually getting you back into your body so that you can be grounded in the present moment to be able to kind of move forward and ripple out, kind of stand in your power is how I think of it.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that, because I am definitely one that has a monkey mind, the monkeys, the chatter, all the things spinning. And as soon as we were doing that, I had to focus so much intention on doing the specific breathing. Because I think we did, was it 2 inhales? So it kind of like inhaled from the stomach, then one more in the chest, and then an exhale.
Yep, it's a
And
double inhale, right?
yeah, so I had to really think about it. And now that you say that, my mind really did kind of turn off, but more so it probably went, I got back in my body and was not having all those spiraling thoughts and, my to-do lists and all the things. So that really did happen pretty instantaneously when I started.
It does. So when you think about breath work, you can think of it like you do with the sauna or a cold bath, right? A
Mm.
cold plunge, because we're creating a resistance for your body to be able to do more and handle stress better.
Okay.
Ultimately, what you're doing with these types of therapies that are very beneficial to the cardiovascular system, right? It creates this resistance. So that's why breath work is, to me, I put it in that category of, especially this type of journey that we did with you. There's so many different types of breath work. I talk about an expansion breath, which we'll go over, I'm sure, at some point, but also what you experienced was a mini journey. And
Okay.
that's truly getting you back into your body. So when we talk about the mind and the monkey mind, I just had my own monkey mind going this morning. Like I know all of this stuff and it still creeps up on me, right?
Mm.
So how I like to explain it is you've got all these monkeys playing on in your mind, right? And so you are either spinning in what you cannot change in the past
Mm.
or what you cannot control in the future. And those two, you just sit and spin in that. If you are worried about next week or next month or next year, or what am I going to do with my life? All of those things, you just sit and spin in that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get back into your body. And
Mm.
because your breath is both conscious and unconscious, you can say breathe. And the minute you say breathe, your body has to listen and breathe. And
Mm.
you're no longer spinning in this or that, whatever that is. So if you can catch yourself, if you can notice, this ruminating thought is not serving me. Anna said to take a breath and I'm
Yeah.
going to breathe. And
Yeah.
you take, 3 to 6 breaths, you will feel that float away, that worry that you had about what is happening in the future and what I cannot change, what I cannot control right now, right? It's
Mm.
not yours to control. It's good to have a plan. Absolutely. Like I understand that. But it's also not keeping you moving forward towards that because you're stuck in the what ifs as opposed to staying present in your body to take action to move forward.
I'm curious to know a little bit more of the science behind this because in my session, I told you beforehand that I had kind of an experience that the previous week of all this goodness was coming my way. And I felt this intense joy and I wanted to really let some emotions out because I was feeling I could notice tears behind my eyes creeping in. But as soon as I noticed that, it was like something in me just shut it down. And I was kind of curious of what would happen during the breathwork session because I've heard people can get emotional, things like that. But I just know that I've spent a lot of years stuffing emotions in that athletic world that I grew up in and things like that. And while I'm trying to unlearn that, it's still a process. And so, probably 60 seconds into my session of breathing, instantly there were just tears pouring out of my eyes. And I think it continued for the next 10, 15 minutes, however long our time was. What is happening with that? The science pieces that can explain, how that's releasing so much so fast.
So there's a couple different levels with that. So first of all, our egos are meant to protect us,
Mm.
and they do a really good job. And they are protecting us based on our previous experiences. If we're getting chased by a tiger, we've felt that before, and we're going to run. Right? It puts
Yeah.
you in that fight or flight. Right? Like we put up these blocks with things. With that's the ego is one part of it. So when you are focusing on your breath and you get into your body to do the breath instead of, you start off telling your mind, oh, I'm going to breathe. Anna said to breathe. But once you start that process, your body knows what to do. It's amazing and it knows what to do and it's going to do that. So now you're in your body. And so what happens is our body stores all these emotions that we have suppressed or pushed down or traumas or tensions and stress and that sort of thing. So it's all stuck in your belly, in your body at your cellular level. And so you want to release that from the cellular level, which you can do with either movement, sound, or breath.
Mm.
Those are the most easy ways to release. And just like if you come home from work and you've had a rough day, if you go for a brisk walk, when you come back, you feel a little better. I like to tone in the car. That's something that's kind of one of my tools that I use is this overtoning idea. And it just releases whatever energy is stuck. I'm pushing through that to release the energy, to clear it so that it doesn't sit in my system anymore.
Tell us what toning is.
Toning is, it's probably going to be horrible to show on here because of the sound quality, and I am not a singer at all. But what it is I'm overtoning. So I'm making a sound. You can use any of the vowels, but if you make the sound E, I just did this with a client this morning. E, do it with me, everyone. E. Where do you feel that vibrating in your body? So if you have a headache, you use that sound because it's typically on the head area. Okay. If you use ah, drop your jaw and say ah, you feel that vibrating in your chest. Oh, like you can just kind of move through it. Again, I don't know what all of those are because I'm not a music person. I just enjoy music, but I just, whatever comes out for me.
Okay.
And for me, I'm always protecting my heart. I've built these walls around my heart to keep me safe, right? So the heart actually is supposed to be expressing joy. That's the emotion that you see with it. But if you have energy stuck or walls built around that, it's hard to express it. So again, we all of our organs have an emotion that's attached with them. So as I just said, the heart is joy, the spleen is worry, kidneys is fear, liver is anger. And any ideas about the lungs?
I think I remember this now from the last time. The tears gave it away, was that it was grief.
Yeah, grief and sadness. So again, we've just associated an emotion with that. But to even push it further than that, what is it that caused that emotion, right? So if you are angry, who have you not forgiven, which is typically yourself, for something that's happened, and you're holding on to that story of that. So again, with the sadness and the grief, it's very common for us to express tears during a breath session because that is the emotion associated with the lungs. There are times when people get angry and, there's different emotions that come up during breath. I've had some that have giggled through the entire session as well. It really just depends on where you're at and what you're experiencing and where it's stuck in your body as far as how to release that energy that is stuck.
Okay.
So very powerful.
And tell me a little bit more about what's happening when we breathe so intentionally like that, so deeply like that, for that extended period of time. What is actually happening in the body?
And your body is absolutely amazing. And this is kind of the anatomy side of that. So I'm going to get all nerdy on you for a minute here. If you take a breath in and then you blow out like you're blowing candles out. So just take a breath in, I'll blow some candles. I want you to feel that resistance that you've created. That's creating a back pressure in your lungs to hold your airways open. So that can be a powerful technique, okay? But when we do this mini journey that I'm talking about, we are releasing built up tension. So with that one, you're going to drop your jaw and say, ah. So deep breath in, hold 1, 2, and then you're going to drop your jaw, sighing it out. If you do that, you can feel the difference between the two, right? So by holding at the top of the inhale, I am creating alveoli, these little tiny air sacs are like grape clusters in your lungs. They're popping open. So think about a balloon. And when you blow it up the first time, how you kind of get that little pop with it. Whereas you blow it up the next time, it opens easier. So as we continue to take these deep breaths and hold at the top of the inhale, we can recruit more alveoli, which increase our oxygenation. So that's why I refer to this breath where I say, take 6 breaths, take a deep breath in, hold at the top of the inhale and release with sound. It's combining all of these elements of the sound and the breath itself. So every time you take a deep breath in and then you release fully and you take your next breath in, you're creating more space to take a bigger breath, which can recruit more alveoli, which improves your oxygenation.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to start or grow your business while feeling supported and seen every step of the way? Join the Align Business Collective, the monthly membership I co-host with Andrea Hansen and Brittany Williams, designed for entrepreneurs like you. This is your space to connect, learn, and build a business that truly works for you, while we hold you accountable with our weekly calls and on-demand coaching. Head to the link in the show notes to learn more and join today. Okay. And then what does the oxygenation do to the body?
Your body's amazing. So then those little tiny alveoli have capillaries and it gets it into your bloodstream and it's moving it throughout your body to your organs. Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
Yes, your body is so amazing. I just love how the science behind it it's so simplistic to me as far as like this is the fun part of it, right? Like, you can see the science behind it, and then you feel it. And
Yeah.
then you're like, uh-huh,
Yeah.
okay, I can get this. I can get behind this. This makes sense. And I feel it. Ultimately, it's when you feel it after you've experienced it that you're like, of course, I'm
Yeah.
going to take better care of my body. I know I have this tool now.
And attest to that after having been through a session. I think I slept the best I've ever slept that night and was not tired in the exhausted sense, but just so grounded and calm that it almost felt like I was a little tired, but I get like I was so zen. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like the only thing I can associate it with is tired because I hadn't really felt like that much calm before at one time.
And so, really, what you're doing is you're creating this harmony or a resonance between your body, your mind, and your soul. Because during a breath session, we've engaged all three of them and we're helping to kind of rebalance everything. Okay. So, when you think about, obviously, we have our physical bodies, right? And then you have an emotional body or an energetic body, however you choose to identify it, and then a spiritual body with that.
Mhm.
Like, we know there's some divine happening around us. Like, we are protected, right? Like, this is an amazing thing. But that builds out. If you've ever had like an aura scan, you can see those different
Sure.
layers of that. So that's super interesting. If anyone can experience that, that's super fun to do as well. So you're really just merging those three in a harmony state
Okay.
because you have gotten out of your monkey mind. Because so often our mind, it's our head that is just spinning, and we give our power away with, we have to know the answer.
Yeah.
But when you feel it, it resonates differently in your body. And so it's creating this resonance. So if you have a guitar, and again, I'm not a musician, but if I strum it right from one
Sure.
one chord with that, say the C, I think that's a chord, right?
Hmm.
So if I'm strumming the C, if you have another guitar in the room, that other guitar will, that same string will start to vibrate. You're creating
Hmm.
a resonance with that.
Yes.
And to me, that's where we need to get back to. So when you walk into a room and you're like, ooh, the energy in here is, whatever it is, you can bring that resonance, your vibration, to create a resonance in that room to increase that frequency in the room.
Mm. Okay.
How were your kids after your breath session? Did you know? I mean, so this is
Yeah.
you standing in your power,
Right.
radiating out, and that affects those that are in your wave, if you will, that are
Yeah.
around you.
I'm not so sure that I paid attention to that, but I can tell you from teaching for so many years in the elementary setting that I have a pretty calm demeanor in as a teacher. I don't really get too high or too low. I like to stay really even keeled because I know that that helps a lot of those higher need kiddos. There's just comments that happen over time where you're like, well, they're always like that with me. But then when they're not with me and they're on the bus, they're a different person. And so I
Yes.
guess I'm thinking of that when you're saying that because I am putting out a certain energy. I used to think about it as kind of expectations that I had in my room, but the more I have dove now down the energy path,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably more
It is
attributed
a
to that.
resonance that you
Yeah.
hold. Yes. And that's such a beautiful gift that you can give to anyone that's around you,
Yeah.
for sure. And kids, especially, they need
Mm.
that. If you think about Gabor Mate is someone that I really enjoy his work. And he talks about babies and their needs and how you meet them and creating this resonance. They have, when you hold a baby, if I
Yeah.
just hold a baby and I do my breath, just brings
Yeah.
them down, right?
Yeah.
If they're crying and upset, and again, thinking about, nieces and nephews and different things, if they're having a meltdown, what is it that they need? They need to be re-regulated, and you
Yeah.
can re-regulate with your breath. So my nieces and nephews, they know, if it's like, oh, they know they did something right, it's like, okay, where's your breath? What's going on? Let's get you back in your body, right? Because
Yeah.
you're spinning out with all this energy that they have. Like, kids have
Right.
the best energy. That is the funnest thing, is being auntie,
Yeah.
because these kids, it's so pure, and so the essence of them is so beautiful, and they just do it right. And again, if they have a meltdown, it's because their little bodies are being overloaded. And
Right. Yeah.
so they need to re-regulate, and either with a human or, with a tool that can be provided with them.
I know you're big on tools. Tell me more about you have a specific philosophy though about that of how, you have the power. These are great, so tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think it's really important. That is one thing from working in healthcare for several years. I could see my patients have given their power away to the doctors, to the medicine, to the disease, to whatever that was, right?
Sure.
And I want to empower people to stand in their power, and you can do that with your breath. Breath is something you have with you all the time. I don't have to remember to pack my essential oils if I'm going away for
Right.
the weekend, because my breath is always with me. It's just remembering to actually use it
Mm.
effectively with that. So tools are a wonderful thing to do. There's so many different ones out there, and I encourage you to explore them so that you know what feels good to you
Yeah.
and you know what works for you. And then also know, as you grow, those tools may change. So
Yeah.
at the core, it isn't the tools, it's you.
Mm.
You are the
Right.
one that holds your power. I really want you to understand that the tools empower your growth, but do not give your power away to the tools or anyone else for that matter. We really want you just to stand in your power and radiate your truth.
Yeah.
And when you are present in your body, that's easy to do. We're all human. We are here for the human experience. So it is very easy for us to get stuck in our monkey
Mm.
minds and everything that's going on and what anyone's doing on IG or different things like that. So
Right.
just know that, yep, I'm aware. I can see that. I saw myself go there. I'm aware of that. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to notice, how does that feel in my body? And how can I shift that? How can I
Yeah.
shift that perspective?
The awareness is just huge. I know my own journey a couple years ago feeling super burnt out, but not having that awareness yet. I was on a personal development journey, but I hadn't had like that inner awakening of growth yet. And so I didn't know that I was in it. And even when I was making steps to try and recover from feeling so crummy, I didn't know it until much later. Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. But when we do learn
Absolutely.
things like this and we have these podcasts and we have this information and awareness that we're sharing our own stories about, hopefully, my hope is always that someone else can catch it sooner and spot it sooner and can get back in their body and can recover and prevent the burnout, because it's not fun when you do end up full of anxiety or all these different places. As you were saying, the tools great, but you have the power. I remember during that big burnout, I was also having just peaks of anxiety, and I would try and do some of those breath things. I think I was doing like box breathing where you kind of visualize, is that right? Where you
Yeah.
visualize
Yep.
breathing, up.
4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold.
Yes,
Yep. That's
in
a
a
very
box.
common one.
Yeah, but I would forget about these tools until I was in the panic.
Uh-huh.
And then I try to rely on them. A lot of times they didn't work. They really didn't work when I was that far into it. So just that awareness, I think, is really powerful, because if you can notice and become aware much sooner, the tools help me a lot more when I can remember to call on them more consistently and not wait until I'm way down in the dark hole and I'm trying to get out, but also knowing that it was me that had the power to get out
Absolutely.
of that hole. And the tools were just pieces that help me remain healthy and away from burnout and all the things, just knowing that we have that power. It's already
Absolutely.
inside us.
Absolutely. And can I just say thank you for this work that you're doing, because it
Yeah.
is reaching people and it does make a difference. So thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your story and kind of how it's resonated with you and how you've learned and grown. And it's just fun to witness this. So thank you for
Yes.
the work you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you for being on and sharing. I know all the guests we've had, it's just super impactful for other women to get to hear from women that might have experienced something like they have, because I don't think we have a platform or a space where we just can unapologetically share and hear things that we can feel seen and validated. So I really appreciate you and all the other guests too. Let's go a little bit of a different route. You've launched your own business and you've meshed these two worlds that are very separate still in society, the medical world and the holistic world. And you've had to have taken some leaps of faith to get to these points in your life. What advice would you have for someone in how that they could follow nudges maybe that they're having, or goals or dreams that they have, and how do you navigate where you go?
Absolutely. Connection, I think, is huge. So, and again, you've created this wonderful community where it is safe to connect with others, and you're bringing people to your community to say, hey, here's another avenue for you. Here's something
Yeah.
else to try. So, that is huge. Connection is very important, because you feel very alone on this journey. especially when you're in the thick of it. It's hard
Yeah.
to know because it's different than what everyone around you is saying and doing. And that's really hard. Writing, I think, is huge as well. I love
Mhm.
that you guys do that. You do the journaling, the brain dump that you talk about quite a bit. That is very powerful work that you can do. And I would just like to say, just starting that process. I have a friend that's an author, Amanda, you actually had her on, and
Yeah.
she's always like, write, write, write. I'm like, no, I can't write. I can't write. I can't write. Like, I can't write, right? Like, but I can. And when I
Yeah.
started, it was very interesting. And I have what I call my universal truths now, because as you start to get that brain dump out and then you
Mm.
go back to reflect, as time goes by, go back and reflect,
Yeah.
and you'll see a common theme. And when you pull those common themes out, all of a sudden you see your universal truth. So you are planting seeds, girl, that are beautiful. I have one here that I wanted to share with you guys today, just to kind of show you kind of that path that goes. And this is kind of everything we're talking about, because I think we limit ourselves so often.
Mm.
And we
Mhm.
really want to get to that liberation, right? Like to that state of liberation. So who are you not being? And what
Mm.
fear lies within you?
Mm.
When will you believe in yourself again? Where can you feel enough to surrender? Why
Mm.
are you limiting the very essence of you? Now, just those alone would be great journaling prompts, right? But there's
Yes.
more. So others have stopped caging you. So why do you stay? It's time to break the limiting beliefs and start believing. Create the creed, a call to show up. Take action to truly break free. Let's leap to take flight. Limitations live in the belief system, held hostage in your mind. Surrender to the whisper of your soul that grants grace and growth to love yourself into liberation.
Those would be great either journal starters to help you with what direction in life to follow, or even to sit with quietly, meditate. I know when you said that you had told yourself forever that I can't write, I can't journal. One thing that I always said, oh, I can't meditate. I can't sit in silence. I can't get my mind to be blank. But really, now I have a meditation coaching certification and I learned
Yeah,
a lot about it. And I'm like, oh, actually, we can all do that. And it's a big myth that our brain has to be blank, but we can actually do these things. We're just
absolutely.
telling ourselves, we're making up
It's
stories about
make the
ourselves.
choice, make a
Yes.
different choice, one
And of
choice at a
course,
time.
like anything, probably not going to be great at it the first time you do
Right,
it. You know,
right.
maybe you're going to get a sentence or two out on your journal or a couple words out, but come back to it, keep coming back to it and just see what happens, because those times of pauses, those times of reflection, I can't speak highly enough of them, because that's exactly what I wasn't doing during those years of just hustle mode and checking boxes. And I feel like how society and the world is sort of set up for us to do and live like. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
choose differently, to not just go through life like a robot checking boxes, wondering why I'm now burnt out. We have to choose differently and make those pauses and reflection times.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
would even push it further as a respiratory therapist to say how you are breathing is a
Yeah.
reflection of how you are living. So if you are constantly breathing up in your chest and feeling stressed
Yes.
and anxiety, you're going to feel that up in your
Hmm.
chest. And if you are feeling very content and grounded and enjoying life, you are going to have a deeper breath. You're going to be using your
Yeah.
diaphragm to breathe, which is how we want people to be breathing, is with their
Yeah.
diaphragm. No one is breathing correctly these days.
Yeah.
And just so you know, if you were ever in an elevator with me, it's real hard for me not to do a quick breath assessment on you to see how you're breathing, because you're either going to a meeting, which you're stressed about, or you just finished a meeting that you're
Mm.
actually released now. You're feeling better about it. There's a lot you can tell about how things are going with your breath, where your breath is. And it's not meant to create a judgment around it. It's
Right.
not good or bad. It's just, hey, this is where my breath is. And then you look around, what's going on in your life? What are you
Yeah.
noticing for stress with there? Oh, well, the kiddos are X, Y, and Z, or the job is this or that,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And to say, okay, what can I not change? What can I not control? And let's come back to my breath so I can be present to move forward.
It's information. It's not good or bad. I love that you're pointing that out,
Absolutely.
because so often we want to categorize things as good or bad, but this is information. Back when I was just strictly doing wellness coaching, so many of my clients would say, oh, I had such a bad day. And I'm like, what, tell me why. and they would list off what they ate and deem it a bad day based on food choices. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is information. Food
Yes.
isn't good or bad, just like you're saying. It's not good or bad. Let's stop doing that to ourselves. It adds a
Yes.
lot of guilt and judgment and all these unnecessary negative feelings that we're just putting on our own self. So let's all
Absolutely.
just have permission to quit that.
I always say feedback. It's just feedback, information,
Yes.
feedback, right? And what you choose to do with it is what makes it good
Yes.
or bad. It's still not even good or bad. It's just if you choose to change it, right? You choose to do it differently.
So I know you do other things besides breathwork sessions. Tell me about some of those things just to keep this awareness going. What else is in our toolkit that we can access?
There's so many different tools that we can utilize. So breath is, of course, at the core of all of my offerings because I incorporate breath into everything because that is at my core, as is everybody's core, right? That is our breath. So breath, you're going to get some sort of breath technique from me if you work with me. I do have my coaching certification as well for wellness. And then I use the In Harmony cushion, which is just this really phenomenal tool that you can use to help ground you into your body. So the developer, Craig Goldberg, talks about how it's easy to drop into meditation because we have all these people that say, oh, I can't meditate. I can't do that. And it's like it drops you into your body so you can very quickly do that. So it's providing music that you probably haven't heard before because it's made specifically for them. All of the instruments are set at a specific frequency. And then you have a vibration on the cushion, which is a very low frequency. So when you think about when you go to the ocean or you go for a walk or a hike in the forest, how does that make you feel? How does your body feel in those environments? Usually you're pretty grounded. So they use a very low frequency that's anywhere from 20 to 120 hertz. And so it really grounds you down into your body and makes you to relax. Now, that certification that I have is to say that if you use a single vibration, there's tons of literature out there over the last 40 years to support how therapeutic it is for certain disease processes, dementia, Alzheimer's, COPD. There's lots of different things that you can do with that. So now that the cushion's kind of twofold, one, it's for relaxation. That's kind of how it's marketed. But because I have my certification with Kate Conkle, that's another option that you can do for specific things as well. So again, it's not taking away anything. It's not diagnosing, treating anything. It's helping your symptoms, which again is kind of everything, right? Like we want to improve your quality of life. It's not changing outcomes per se. So just to be clear on that, I'm not diagnosing or treating anything. Of course, breath work, the mini journeys that I do, and I also do private sessions and retreats. That's a pretty big one. Evergreen Haven is a retreat center that will be opening in Wisconsin, in Spooner, Wisconsin in 2024 here next year. And we'll be offering retreats there that will have a bunch of different adjuncts, but breathwork will usually be part of each of those different retreats. And then also I have what's called the Healy, which is super interesting. It's a little device that literally looks interesting, but it is connecting your mind, body, soul. Again, it's working at creating your greatest resonance between your mind, body, and soul to help create harmony.
I've actually had that done to me.
Feel it. Yeah. How did you feel with it?
I actually went specifically, I had just a bout of terrible allergies. And it really did help those symptoms. It kind of lessen those things and just reset everything.
It's pretty phenomenal. Again, just another tool. Like it's ultimately that's all within you. It's just a reflection and a reminder that this is within you. Let's see here. I feel like there's more. Oh, I offer Purium products. It is like a supplement type company that you can get. It's whole foods that are wind dried and they are grown in soil that actually has nutrient value to it as opposed to how most of our organic vegetables are grown. So I have some Purium products as well. And the big things are the breath and the cushion right now and the Healy, of course. So lots of options.
Okay. So my last question for you is what message would you hope that the listeners just kind of take with them today, keep it close to their heart? If they don't remember anything else, what do you want them to know?
Grant yourself grace. It's hard to do for yourself, but yet we do it for everyone around us. I feel like we would never speak to a friend the way we speak to ourselves. It's being kind, like kindness matters. The world is in an interesting state right now, and we need that kindness. So grant yourself grace, especially if you're on this journey and this path, moving forward, these adventures that we're on, right? Like there's highs and there's lows, and you're going to feel both. And And that's okay. Like, reach out if you need connection and you need support. There's people
Yes.
available to support you. Please don't do it alone. It's hard. It's hard work,
Yeah.
but it's also so worth it.
Thank you for that reminder. And finally, tell us where we can look you up, social media, website, your location of your office right now. Tell
Oh,
me
yeah.
about that.
I have a small office space in Plainview, Minnesota, in the Plainview Business Center. And that's where we do breath sessions on Sunday evening, just to kind of try like a mini session and get some education around breath. So that's on most Sunday evenings. And then that's right on Broadway in Plainview.
Okay.
And then my website is awakenwithanna.com. And then Instagram is awaken.with.anna. And Facebook is Awaken with Anna as well.
Okay, great. I will link all of that in the show notes. I'll link the location and that retreat too, in case you're listening to this at a later date and you're like, ooh, 2024 is my year. Let's go
It's
get some
here.
breath
Yeah.
work. So thank you so much to the listeners. Have a better, brave day. Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready for podcast mentoring, whether it's setup, editing, planning, or guesting, you can book a one-on-one call with me through the link in the show notes. I hope you feel seen, inspired, and like your dreams and goals are completely valid, because they are. See you next Tuesday.